nibble just before the show, and I am nibbling some matzah. We're going to do a series over the next few weeks, maybe into next month, of some ethnic foods. We've got some Cajun food coming. We have Polish, and today we're going to do a Jewish treat. Now, you may have noticed that I didn't shave today. And it's just, one of those hot summer days where you don't feel like doing anything. And you don't even feel like cooking. So we're going to do breakfast for dinner. My parents did this every now and then. And I think right now, with the high cost of almost everything, especially food, you're going to enjoy what we're going to do. We're going to make matzah Brie, okay? And our special guest cook is my friend for over 40 years, Dr. Earl Mindell. We'll get to Earl in just a couple of moments. This is Mark Alyn Cooks. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner. We are live here on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on YouTube, and we appreciate your comments. So if you're watching, let us know. Now, one of the things that I said when Earl and I were talking about coming on the show, I said, what about memories and food? And that's what we started talking about. Let's bring Earl in. Earl, of course, is known to everybody. He's written 65 books. I interviewed him on many of his books, but we're going to show you right now his first book, which was The Vitamin Bible. Earl Mindell, welcome to Mark Alyn Cooks.
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
This is Earl's 497th appearance with me over those 40 years. We want to dedicate this show to a friend of ours who passed away recently. Erwin Zucker from Promotion in Motion provided hosts like me and producers with all kinds of guests. He was a great guy. He was almost 94, I think.
Yes, it was 94. I met him, actually, I met his wife first 40 odd years ago. So,
wow.
And I feel he's one of the reasons that my books were successful, because he was a promoter par excellence, as we say in French.
He was. We have Javier Perez, who says, "Hi, chef." So thank you, Javier. Let us know where you're writing in from, Javier. Okay, and we appreciate this. This, by the way, is a dish that we're going to make, the matzah Brie, and that's spelled B-R. Wait, how did I spell it? B-R-I-E. It almost sounds like matzah Brie, but it's not matzah Brie, it's matzah Brie. And I checked the spelling.
Basically, it's scrambled matzah. I mean, eggs.
Right.
If I remember correctly. Great story for people who don't know what matzah is. Matzah is unleavened bread. And 3,000
Carol, let's show what that looks like.
Okay.
It's almost like a cracker.
Yeah, exactly. But 3,000 years ago, supposedly, when Moses led his people out of Egypt after Pharaoh said, get out of town, they didn't have time to basically make the bread rise. So they had to leave quickly. And the story goes, who knows if it's true or not, but they would put the dough on their head and let the sun bake it. But it wasn't enough to make it rise. So that's why we eat matzah during Passover to remember it.
Right, to commemorate the Exodus. The thing that we're going to do now is we're going to talk about this. If you have questions for Dr. Earl Mindell, any question about vitamins, herbs, we're going to lose his book right now, and he can hold up the original book. He told me it sold for like $12, $12.95. You've got that right there?
Hardcover.
Hardcover. Whoa, baby.
Here it is. Here is the original Vitamin Bible from December of 1979. And the story was that the publisher was very worried. They No book was ever over $9.95, so they said this will be the first hardcover book over $10, which is a joke. But if you consider $10 then, it's probably $100 now.
Hey, probably it's or close to it. All right, let's get to the recipe. We're going to do this real quick. I'm going to break up the matzah, and I want to show you. And matzah is like a cracker. I suppose if you don't have matzah, you could do this with an unsalted cracker. I don't know that it would taste as good. This is a unique flavor. I personally love matzah, and I eat matzah with certain kinds of fish more.
It's a little rough to make. A little rough to make it as a sandwich, but of course today in modern Israel, you've got gluten-free matzah, you've got whole wheat matzah, you got all kinds of matzah.
I was going to say, a couple of years ago, you and your wife Gail took me to breakfast at a deli in Tarzana, and I ordered matzah Brie, and you said, why don't you order it with gluten-free matzah? And I did. It was very good. All right, I'm going to pour some water in here. The water is used to soften the matzah. Okay? And we're going to let it soak for a moment. Over here, Earl, we're going to take a couple of, these are non-GMO eggs.
Okay.
And this is basically scrambled eggs with matzah. I remember my dad making it, and my mom and dad and my two sisters would sit around, and you know, it would be family time, and it was really, really quite nice. Do you know if your parents added milk to the batter?
You know, I don't remember milk, but I remember my grandmother and my mother made it, and I think they did. I think they put some milk in there, but I
all right, let's put a splash of milk in it, Carol. We'll do that. And thank you. It's okay? All right.
That's it.
Whoop. All right, there we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the matzah that's been sitting here. I'm going to squeeze it out. And let's see if I can get most of it out. There, I did. And again, I'm going to mix it up with the egg. And it's a batter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what it is.
Oh, Carol found it.
Side there.
Oh,
There you go.
Carol found more. This is one of our favorite breakfasts. We used to make this for our kids. Well, we used to make this for our kids. Carol would make this for our kids.
Oh, look who's here.
Lois Julian, hello to us both from Lois in Calabasas. Thank you, Lois. About time. I told her about this show about a year ago. She said, hey, why don't you come over to the senior center? Maybe you could, do something over there. So I'm waiting. But, again, as people get older, they forget. And Lois, I love you. By the way, I heard from an old friend of yours last week. You'll have to call me next week to find out who that was. All right. So I'm going to leave this right here. I'm going to go back to our stove, and I'm going to turn it on. And I'm using butter. Now, I have to say that, you're a nutritionist, let's face it, right, Earl?
No.
This is not the healthiest meal in the world, but it's comfort food.
You might be able to use an oil like canola oil or olive oil.
Ooh, olive? No olive oil. Not in this one. It would flavor it different. Actually, there are two kinds of matzah brie. We always had it sweet, But there are people who make it salty, and you could use. Oh, Lois said she can put chopped onion in. Thank you, Lois. Yeah, if
But
we're putting chopped onion in it, then you could absolutely use the olive oil. And there's a salty version of this. I don't use salt in this because I'm going to sweeten this at the end. I'm going to make this. This is basically a pancake. And what we're going to do is I'm going to we can top it with maple syrup, which is what my family did, or jelly, jam. I know it's a lot of sugar, but once in a while, it's comfort food. Okay, let's see how we're doing back here. I have to apologize to Carol. I said, no, that's not enough butter. She said, it's going to be plenty.
and she's right.
She was right. I can? Okay. I'm going to take it out and put it there. All right. We're going to make this the Erwin Zucker Matzah Brie. Okay? One of the genius public relations people ever. I met him in 1973 when I was working for an NPR station. 1973. Okay. Make sure your butter is hot. And Carol, there we go. Can you hear it? There we go. And
You're making me hungry, I'm telling you.
I tell you, I can't wait. This is, even in today's climate, this is a $5 meal. It's very quick. It's very easy.
But
I'm going to turn the fire up a little bit. Hopefully I'll be able to flip this. Not sure it'll work, but we'll try. So we're going to cook this for a couple of minutes. Javier says, I'm going to give Paula Dean a run for her money. Yes, thank you, Javier. I appreciate that. Lois, that's a very pretty picture. She's watching on LinkedIn. Javier is watching on Facebook. By the way, if you didn't get this live, you can always go to facebook.com/Mark Alyn Cooks or YouTube, Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner, youtube.com/Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner, or I don't know where it is on Twitter, you'll have to find it. And on LinkedIn, it's linkedin.com/Mark Alyn. All right, good deal. Here we go. It is, it's cooking up. I think what I'm going to end up doing is folding it. No, I'm not going to fold. I'm going to try to flip it.
Well,
with the spatula, yeah. Okay, good. Denise Anderson. Denise says, your haircut, looks great. Well, thank you. A couple of weeks ago, Carol and I took off for my birthday. We went to Santa Barbara. And we're walking down the street. Let me tell this story, Carol.
yeah.
And we're walking down the street and there's a barber shop. And I didn't say anything. Carol didn't say anything. About a half a block or a block further on, there's another barber shop. We saw about 5 barber shops in a small area, right? And finally, Carol says, I think the universe is trying to tell you to get a haircut. And so I stopped in and I got this. So thank you, Denise, for noticing. It makes me look so much younger. Okay, let's see how we're doing over here. I'm going to try to flip it.
Yeah.
Carol, could you hand me the... Oh, I know, I could do this. Be very careful when you're doing this, because if you don't do it right, it'll fall apart. All right, 1, 2, 3. Not bad. I'm going to chop it up a little bit so it'll all cook. But you can see It's really nice here. It's nice and toasty. I'll turn it down just a little bit.
Yeah, turn it down
A little more. And you know what? I'm going to cut the, whoa. Earl, do you do much? I know you like to eat. Honestly, do you cook at all?
No, I'm not a cook. I used to make pizza, remember, but I'm not definitely not a cook. However, you're right. I love to eat, especially ethnic food like that. In fact, we talked about this, Mark. I don't know if we'll have time, but I can leave it with you. I've got a recipe for chopped herring, which
Yes.
in Yiddish is called gehackte herring. That uh, my daughter, my granddaughter, my mother, my grandmother made. That is, I thought it was a simple thing. You know, you just take chop the herring, add some apples. No, no, it's a very complex thing. And when I was just back in Winnipeg, where I'm originally from, about a month ago, I had chopped herring for breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Oh,
with
yeah.
rye bread.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Denise, thank you. You're well. You look. I look fabulous. Yes. And she says hello to Carol. I have to tell you, when Carol and I got together, and I met her grandmother from Montreal. She was actually living at the time. Her grandparents were living in Chicago, and they said, "We're going to come out and bring you chopped herring." Well, my family had wine herring. My family had creamed herring. And honestly, I have not met a herring that I didn't like. I like Matzah's herring. I just like herring. I do. I have home style herring from Acme smoked fish out of Brooklyn in my refrigerator right now. And so I really like the idea of the chopped herring. But when I talked to a couple of people, some with a Jewish background like you and me, Earl, and others, they said no herring. So they said that, that's what they said. I actually have a Polish chef who wants to make his version of herring.
Mark, I got a great story. When I was a little boy, one of my uncles had a grocery store with a large, big barrel of herring in oil,
Oh,
which is, which they call schmaltz herring.
yes.
And when you would order it,
Carol just said ick. I love it.
oh, they pick the herring out of the. I love herring. I love all kinds of fish. My wife is not too excited about it either, but herring is
So if
very.
we go to dinner sometime, the four of us, we could have herring at our table, and they can eat something else at theirs.
By the way, from a nutritional standpoint, herring is very good source of omega-3 fatty acids,
Oh,
which is
absolutely,
very healthy.
absolutely. It's great. Okay, let's. Carol, I'm gonna. I think it's ready. So we're gonna come over here. I lost my towel. So look at how pretty that looks.
It's great.
Should I flip it again, Carol?
No, just take a piece that's cooked on both sides, just for your taste, right?
Yes.
Just take a piece that's cooked.
All right, I'm just going to take a piece of this. I get it. Like this. Earl, you should be here. Oh, this smells so good.
Oh,
Now, as I said, this is like a pancake. And if you want, you can add. I've seen people add lox to it, onions, as our viewer Lois said. So my fork is here. I try as much as I can to use organic products on this show and in our lives. I always strive for non-GMO. I've actually gone to Congress and talked to congressional leaders about genetically modified foods. They're awful, they're terrible. I don't care what the scientists say in this case, because they're just, we don't know. And they're not allowed, I think, in the European Union
Exactly right.
at this point, right?
The European countries will not take American food because it's genetically modified. It's
Right.
completely illegal in Europe.
All right, I'm going to use some organic maple syrup
Okay.
on this.
Is it from Vermont or Quebec?
This is, it's organic. It's an amber color. It's a product of the USA and Canada. So
Okay,
it doesn't say exactly where.
Vermont
And
on
it-
the border is Quebec, and that's where the maple trees are, and they use the sap.
All right, here we go. And I'm just, oh, there we go. Whoa. Again, this dish is inexpensive, and it can be, I mean, it's fast, as you can see. I'm cutting a couple of bites. All right, this is the favorite part of the show for me, okay? The taste.
Absolutely. I'm jealous.
Earl, come on over.
All right. I'm going to.
This is really good. It's easy. I mean, this brings back memories of childhood, right?
Yes. Childhood, and also, as I say, when we go out to any kind of a deli, my wife always orders Matzah Brie, and we order for our grandchildren. They love it too.
Yeah, absolutely. How many grandkids?
2, as of
Got
this
it.
morning. As of
No,
this morning.
all right. We're waiting for more.
No,
Well-
we're waiting, but don't hold your breath.
Oh, okay.
Our son's not married yet.
Oh,
So anybody out there looking, we have a show.
we'll let you know. You know, you just have to have a lot of money. That's the requirement, basic requirement. I've got to do this again, Earl. I'm sorry.
All right, go. It's kind of a chewy experience, but not a heavy chewy. It's just a light chewy experience, but it kind of melts in your mouth really.
Oh, this is great, and you know, it's not like some of the traditional Jewish dishes are very salty. This is not,
Yeah.
and they're bland, which is why I'm not a big fan. Now there are things like chopped liver. I don't do this often. Once in a while, I'll do.
Chopped liver is fabulous when it's done right. But you know why they use salt? Of course, it was a wonderful preservative,
Right.
as well as taste-wise. I mean, my grandmother would always salt all the food to keep it, even though the refrigeration, but they use salt as a preservative.
Yeah. And listen, we just have 1 minute left. What is the current supplement or vitamin that everybody should be taking to improve their immune system to protect from COVID 19, 20, 28, and all the other variations?
Vitamin D3. D3 is a natural form of vitamin D. I recommend at least 4,000 to 5,000 units, or about 120 micrograms a day. The problem is, Mark, it takes about a year to build up your blood stream to that amount. So you've got to take it every day. But it'll help not necessarily prevent COVID, but the symptoms, etc., are much less severe. And there's new research about vitamin D3 that's fabulous. I mean, I talk about it in the Dr. Mindell's Vitamin Bible.
Got it. And I have to tell you that I was part of we did several shows with the Organics and Natural Association and Karen Howard when they did a study on vitamin D3. There is an epidemic of low vitamin D levels.
But did he say?
95% of the population is not getting enough of the optimal amount, not a minimum, but optimal amount.
Right. And what happens is, and that, I mean, your bones, your brains, your everything. It's vital.
Everything.
Hey, Earl, will you come back and we'll come, maybe in a month or two, and
Or we'll go out and have some matzah fry at one of the delis.
yeah, we could do that too. All right. Earl, thank you very much. Hold on. Listen, thank you for watching. We really appreciate that. Please let your friends know. And if you have a dish that you would like to make with me, you've got my email right there. Let us know. We want to do this. I mean, we've got a Polish chef coming. We have a Cajun cook-off between Ken Akshati, who about a month ago made a wonderful Lebanese chili. We've had the LD Sludge on making shrimp and pork. Well, we're going to have them both on at the same time, and we're going to make two different dishes. We're going to have a special at the end of August. All right, I'm Mark Alyn. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a great night, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.